a car's pulled up in front, all the windows started coming through, bam, bam, all the guns are out. I'm seeing old Bill standing everywhere. Next thing, the windows have all busted in, all the windows have come through. I mean, I've been pulled out the back window of the car. The first time I ever went to prison was for a big police chase, all around central London, Park Lane, Marylebone, crashed into a police car outside Paddington Green police station, carried on going, went up Park Lane the wrong way, had police cars crash into me there, stung my tyres out, and that was my first prison sentence. Going through the prison system, it just made me bitter. It made me feel like I could just do whatever I like and commit crime as and well I fit. If I want it, I'm taking it, and no one could do it or say anything about it. And that's exactly how my attitude was. What I would do is just walk around the streets of London, literally, and I would look at things in cars, and I would smash the windows, and I'd take the phones or the laptops, and it was literally walking the pavements of London every day, all day, every day, just trying to find something to steal so I could sell it, so I could get a bit of money, so I could get food. You know, I went from being a small-time criminal to progressing. So you could just imagine this: you start off small and you progress. You start training your skills, and I did that for years, becoming a criminal and just basically bit by bit going through the criminal world, going bigger, going bigger, going bigger. I don't know why the criminal people look at it and think bank robbers are the best thing, but they do, unfortunately. Me and Nick, my co-defendant, we decided, we spoke, we was like, how can we rob this place? How can we rob a bank in broad daylight without any weapons, without anyone questioning us? So we thought, well, Burqa's is the best way because you're completely covered from head to toe. You can't see your face. You can wear gloves and you can blend into any situation, like you're in London streets, and it only takes a second to pull that disguise off and you're back in civilian clothes. So we've gone to Regent's Park Mosque, and I've gone into the clothing section, and there was a load of Muslim women in there as well as everybody else. And I'm trying on these dresses. Me and Nick are trying them on, and I'm looking at Nick. Nick's looking at me. He's like, "Yeah, you look good." I'm like, "Yeah, you look good." Instead of taking them off and then walking out the shop and paying for them like we would normally, Nick's like, "Can we wear them?" And I've looked at him, I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's wear them, it'll be fun." This is where our mentality, this is where I understand we was not thinking correctly. We're just in it for the glory, I think that's what it was. I paid £80 for my dress, Nick paid £80 for his dress, and then we've left the mosque. As we're walking out, the security guards obviously seen the two of us. We're big built men, we've got big shoulders, we've got big arms, and we don't look like women. Plus we're dressed in burqas, so the shape of our body giving us away straight away, plus our height. So he's seen us, both of us. Obviously he's gone for the smaller one, which would be me. As he's come to me, obviously my whole thing is I can't let him detain me. So I've just dealt with him as quick as I could, put him on his ass and got out of there. But because of that, because I've just dropped this guy and he's now screaming his head off for all the people to see, next thing, like literally I would say at least 150 people started chasing me and my buddy Nick. So I'm running in the burqa trying to get my keys out of my pocket. Nick's run off that way. He's getting chased by a load of people. I'm running, jumped in my car, shaking like a leaf because I've got all these people chasing me. I've locked the door, put the key in the ignition, and as I'm tearing off, literally people are jumping on the car, pulling bits off, mirrors are coming off, windscreen wipers are coming off, and then I'm gone. But then obviously I've gone around the corner to my mate's house, who lives in the Green Estate, and then from there, we decided, right, let's go, let's do this. Thinking back, we didn't think that situation would even affect our path. That's how naive I would say we were. We've met up, we're like, you ready? We're like, yep, sweet. So then we've gone to Kilburn High Road, and that's when we've robbed the bank, literally about an hour later. We're in the banking foyer, we're waiting for the guy to go, and it was just by luck for us that day. There was a couple of Muslim people actually in the bank, genuine Muslim ladies, and they were fully dressed in burqas as well. So we've sort of blended into this little crowd of people, yeah? So we're in the bank and we're moving forward with the queue. And the next thing, the security guard that's carrying the money to and from the bank is right beside me now. And right beside the chute is where he puts the money in, and then it's on a safe that turns within the banking area. So he's put the money in there. But what happens normally is they'll come in with the box. He opens the box up, takes the bag of cash out, which was £25,000, holds it in his hand and scans it with that handheld terminal thing, yeah? As he's done that, he puts the money into the safe. As he's done that, I've grabbed him and I've flung him across the bank. No weapons, nothing major, because we were only young. We never ever had intentions of hurting anyone. That's exactly, we was not there to hurt people. We were there for the glory, because we wanted to hit the papers. Being dressed in burqas, robbing banks, that's what we was like. We were freaking stupid kids. I've thrown in, my mates grabbed the cash, and then we've run out the bank, jumped in the car, the getaway car, which was parked right outside the bank, and then we've gone. Crashed the car a few miles away. I ended up crashing the car, and then we've run through a park. I've ended up taking the dress off. I put the dress in the bin, in one of them dog bins, and then the police, obviously, they found that. They found my DNA on that. They've got the picture from the mosque. So I was just done. I was guilty as hell. I couldn't get out of it. So I plead guilty straight away. Ended up getting 3 years for that.
Did it give you a sort of status in prison?
Yeah, it did, yeah. Especially when I seen all the stuff in the newspaper. I've come out of prison and I had the mentality that I was untouchable. I generally thought I was better than the police, and my lifestyle then became more erratic, I was full of hate. I hated the police. I hated the world that I lived in. I hated everyone. I literally generally hated everybody. At that precise time in my life, I'd broken up with my partner, who I was with for 10 years. I had 3 kids with her, and the relationship was not good. Obviously, I was taking alcohol, I was taking drugs at that time in my life, because that was the lifestyle, unfortunately. Someone else has then informed me that they know where a property developer lives that has large quantities of jewellery in their house. So we've travelled to Radlett, Hertfordshire, and I sat outside this house for 4 or 5 hours waiting for this person to come back. The lady's come back, she's pulled up, her big metal gates have opened up at the front of her house, the big gates have closed behind her, she's driven the silver convertible Mercedes into the house, and I was just concentrating on the money. I wasn't caring about the victim. I weren't thinking about how I was going to make her feel or the effects that I would have on her life after we have just robbed her. I didn't think about that. All I thought about was, I just want to get it over and done with as soon as possible, get what we need to do, sell that, get the money, and then I can worry about what I'm going to do another couple of days down the line once the money's gone. That was my attitude. What's happened to her is she's been put on the floor, and all her jewellery was removed off her there and then on the spot. Watches, rings, bracelets, necklaces, earrings and stuff like that, which is bad, mate, and I hate even talking about this. Now we need to go into her house and cut open the safe and get the jewellery out of the safe, because that's what we're there for. We're not there for what's on her, we're there for what's in the safe. But because we're going to the safe, we're going to take everything off her as well, because it just makes sense. You're in for a penny, in for a pound. So we've robbed this lady, and I remember her face was, well, I can't explain it. It was horrible. She looked petrified, mate, and it made me feel sick. I thought, nah, mate. So I've run. I left the building. I've grabbed my lads and we've run. Got in the car, drove off. Next thing, a big whack has come from the left-hand side of the car. I think it was the left. It was the left-hand side, a big smashing from the left-hand side, and I've looked, and all I can see is guys jumping out of cars, pulling out guns and putting caps on. And obviously I knew straight away it was the flying squad, it's the police. So I've screamed at the driver, go, it's old Bill, it's old Bill. Next thing, another police car's crashed into the side of this car. A car's pulled up in front. All the windows started coming through, bam, bam, all the guns are out. I'm seeing old Bill standing everywhere, pointing handguns at me. Next thing, the windows have all busted in, all the windows have come through. I mean, I've been pulled out the back window of the car, and we got a hiding for it. Literally, we got a beating, but rightly so. We just robbed a lady. We needed a beating, and we got it. We got what we deserved. We get arrested. We go to the police station. I get taken to Colindale police station. I'm in prison. and we start getting all our case papers, our DEPs they're called, all our paperwork starts coming through. And in the paperwork, it's got a thing called an impact statement. Now, this impact statement is the impact of your offence, that what the offence you've committed on that person, the impact of that crime. She then tells, or he tells, what the impact is on them. And in her statement, she explained how she felt. She felt afraid, obviously. She felt everything she felt. But what changed me and changed my whole outlook on crime and outlook on absolutely everything was the fact that when she was being robbed, she got turned over. She got turned over so we could control her. But at that point, she thought she was going to be raped, which makes me feel disgusting, mate, because I've been raped. I've been raped loads. I had parents that were quite... See, my mum was good. My stepdad weren't so good. My real dad, he was terrible. He slit his throat when I was 1, in front of me and my brother. Then a few years passed. My mother left my dad, left my father, and then my mum met my stepdad. He became abusive and aggressive and used to beat my mum all the time. My mum left me with a babysitter. Whilst she left me with the babysitter raped me. Basically, the person that raped me was a rent boy, and he was 14 years old. And my mum used to let this boy babysit me. After that, I became very angry, very dysfunctional as a child. I got to the age of about 4 or 5 years of age, and my behaviour was so unstable, and I was such a danger to myself and others around me. They put me in these traumatised place for children, for young kids that suffer from sexual abuse and trauma. And my behaviour would deteriorate there, and I would be restrained, held down by members of staff, mainly 4 men normally. So I'd have 2 men holding me down at the top, 2 men holding my legs down, and I'd be in a white padded room. There was white padded, it was like a safety room for damaged children, should we say. I got to the age of about 6 years old, and then what happened was social services, because I've been going through the system now for 3 years, from the age of 3 up until the age of 6, everything they tried with me failed. So what they did decide to do was then put me into care, and they put me in a place called the Marbury Bush in Oxfordshire, and that is for young traumatised kids. Got kicked out, and I went to a place called 4 Sherland Road in central London, and that is where I was there for probably no more than 2 weeks, and then I got sent to another place up in Kent. The worst thing about being in Kent was I met a kid. He introduced me to some other guy, and I thought this geezer was my friend. I was only 9 at the time, and they ended up taking me away, and then they both raped me in a field. They done that, and the thing is, I never told anyone about this. I never told no one because, 1, I was so ashamed about what happened to me. 2, I didn't think anyone would believe me. At this stage in my life, my mother she didn't like me. I don't think that she liked me. I can't understand her thinking behind it, but mine and her relationship was so bad at this stage that I would go to her house and she wouldn't let me in. This was going on for so long. My little sister Kelly, would bring me out blankets, cigarettes and food and leave it on the balcony for me. And I did that for a long time.
Did you feel like people were making an effort to understand why you were running away?
Definitely not. And that's where it goes wrong in the system. Like, you've got so many young kids that are mentally, they're damaged kids, mate. I was a very damaged child. I experienced so much bad stuff in my early life that it made me completely different to everyone else. And I didn't even know how to fix that. A lot of the children's homes, there's a lot of abuse that goes on in these places, like a lot. And this is what the public don't hear about. Like, there's a lot of kids abusive towards each other. So you've got a lot of sexual abuse going on in them places. You've got a lot of bullying going on in them places, and it's just not a nice place to be. I'm not saying all of them places are like that, but every single one that I've experienced has. So then I've come out of care absolutely clueless. I don't know how to read. I don't know how to write. I don't know how to pay bills. I don't know how to drive properly. I can drive because I've known how to steal cars, but I don't know how to apply for a job. And social services never gave me anything like that. They never taught me how to read. They never taught me how to write. They never taught me how to money management. Because I was lacking all of them skills, the only thing I could put my hands to was crime. I never woke up decided that I want to be a thug today. It was a lifestyle that was pushed upon me, you know what I mean? And that's not an excuse, it's just the way it was. I was always hunting for something that I didn't know what existed. And that a lot is love, you know what I mean? And having a family unit, having a wife, having the kids, having a reason to be a good dad, and making sure that whatever you put into your kids' heads, it's good. If you deal with these things on a daily basis, love, respect, and just be decent, things are better. Things are better for everybody, man. And it's not just you that is going to benefit that. The people around you are going to benefit from that. Being out of prison now, I'm training now to be a therapist, which is to help kids or people, anyone that has been through trauma. So that's my journey now, and to help people that have been through what I've been through. And all I do now is I talk to everybody, and I encourage everyone to talk, because talking's a massive thing. It's important for me to help people, especially people that have suffered like I have. It's very difficult for men to talk. Men do not talk about their feelings. This is one thing that needs to change. It's not macho for a man to be there talking about his feelings. If you've got things that have been haunting you for 30 years, you need to talk about it.
Did you ever meet the woman who had the impact on you?
No, I haven't, but every single podcast I go on, I say sorry. Like, I say sorry on these ones, I do it more because I hope to meet her one day. Like, I hope to meet her. I hope to hold her hand and say sorry. If she does ever watch these things, she'll see that there's a genuine man in front of the camera, that he is sorry for the things he's done, you know? He generally is. And he's trying to make the world better now.
We lived on the third floor of a block of flats, and when the Nazi party came around collecting all the Jews, my aunt, who stayed with us, looked out and saw what was going on. She couldn't do anything about my mother, who by that time was taken downstairs into the courtyard where they gathered all the Jewish women.